The recent Pakistan and India tensions explained. Recently, there was an attack on tourists in Indian-occupied Kashmir where 26 people had lost their lives. India very quickly blamed Pakistan for supporting the group that did this attack, while Pakistan, of course, denies the allegations. If the attack was from an independent group within Kashmir, or if it was Pakistan who funded the attack, or even another possibility that it was India itself that orchestrated the attack. Regardless of who actually did what, the point is that the ramifications which have come on the back of this event are going to have big consequences, not just for the region, but the entire world. After the attack in Kashmir, India straight away cancelled many different trade deals it had with Pakistan. It put itself on high alert against Pakistan, and most notably, it suspended the Indus Waters Treaty. The Indus Water Treaty was an agreement between Pakistan and India to give Pakistan exclusive rights to the waters of the Indus River system for its own domestic use. Now, Pakistan and India have been at war before, but never ever has India suspended this treaty, and never ever has India used water to this level to try and punish Pakistan for what it believes is behind this attack. Now, the Indus River system, it starts in the Tibetan Plateau in China, within the Himalayas. It passes through Indian-occupied Kashmir, it makes its way into northern Pakistan, all the way down the country into the Arabian Sea. 80% of Pakistan's farms relies on the Indus River system. It is literally the lifeline of Pakistan's farming, its agriculture, its drinking water, its hydroelectric power, and of course, its overall economy. The issue is that before entering Pakistan, these rivers, these waters, they have to pass through India. Now, with the use of dams and reservoirs, India could actually block or at least reroute majority or a lot of this water that enters Pakistan, and this is going to cause catastrophic results for Pakistan if it doesn't have any water to use for its nation. Now, even though these dams and reservoirs are not fully developed yet, but the potential to cut off or severely diminish Pakistan's water is a very real threat. This is going to lead to massive political ramifications. 5% of elite landowners in Pakistan own 64% of the agricultural land, the farms. 80% of the farms in Pakistan rely on these Indus River waters. This means that the farms and the agriculture is going to hit the elite the most, and of course it's going to also affect the rest of the population, your average farmers and your average people who need the water to drink and to have electricity. A hit to the farms and agriculture is in turn going to affect the relationship between the elite and the army in Pakistan. Because you see, these elites, these landowners, they have a very precarious relationship with the army. They give the army legitimacy, they give the army support, they give the army money in exchange that the army guarantees their protection and their security from any internal and external threats. Now, internally, the Pak army has always been very quick to move and to secure the interests of the elites. But India is an external threat. India is an external security issue for Pakistan. This is why, even though the agricultural sector is about 24% of GDP, but the agricultural sector's contribution to the tax revenue is less than 1%, because of course the elite and the landowners are not going to tax themselves. India's suspension of the Indus Water Treaty could upend all of this. A decrease in water would lead to a decrease in agriculture and farming, which would make the elite in a less powerful position than they are, which means that the financial contribution that they can give to the army is going to diminish. At the same time, it shows that the army is weak, because the whole point of the army in Pakistan is to secure the defense and the security of Pakistan. And if it can't even guarantee the safety of its own waters for its own people, then what is this going to do to the reputation of the Pakistani army? In fact, with the elites in a less powerful position and with the army's reputation on the line, this could literally result in a full-scale revolution in Pakistan, whereby the grip that the elite and the army once had over the nation is no longer possible, as one of its key resources in maintaining this grip is no longer available, which is the water. And therefore, Pakistan finds itself in a position with only two options. One is that it appeals to the international community. What this means is that you take your appeal to the UN, to the World Bank, and essentially to the US to solve your issue for you. This would mean to bow to India's pressure, and in effect, to bow to the pressure of the US. It would mean to concede to the US agenda and policy in the region. The US is trying to bulk up India against China, and so India will always be the beloved darling of the US, and Pakistan will always be the second option. If Pakistan goes down the route of the international community and the US pressure, then effectively what Pakistan has done is to concede to Indian power. It is to give up Kashmir entirely, and it is to allow India to have full control and access to Pakistan's jugular, to Pakistan's lifeline, which is the Indus River system. Who knows, maybe the US could even push Pakistan and pressure Pakistan into nuclear disarmament. Give up your nukes in exchange for a guarantee of water. And this is actually the second lifeline of Pakistan, which is its nuclear capability as a deterrence to India. This is a guaranteed capitulation and would mean that Pakistan puts its hands up and says, "Oh India, we are at your mercy forever." This option is a guaranteed failure. Option 2 is that Pakistan takes control of its own water source. That would mean to liberate Indian-occupied Kashmir. Now this would mean to defy US pressure. This would mean to go against what the US had instructed its most loyal, subservient nation to do. But it is vital for Pakistan's security. It is vital for Pakistan's survival. Will Pakistan continue to follow US pressure even at the literal expense of its own nation, or will it defy US pressure and take control of its own water for the survival of itself and of all the people in Pakistan? Contrary to popular belief, India right now is actually in a very, very weak spot. To take back Indian-occupied Kashmir and to secure your waterways is completely right now in the advantage of Pakistan. Firstly, India is spread very thin at the moment. It has troops on the line of control in Kashmir. It has troops against China in the Aksai Chin region, and it is on high alert for whatever changes may occur in Bangladesh. Simultaneously, Pakistan has an ally in China. It is within China's interest to weaken India, as India is being used by the US to be a thorn in the side of China. Also, India needs to take into consideration that Kashmir, which it holds onto, is over 90% Muslim. The people do not want to live under Indian rule anyway. Utilizing the nation of Pakistan, as well as the 3 million Muslims living in Kashmir, as well as the political pressure that the 250 million Muslims within India could put on the government. Signing treaties with Bangladesh, which is on the other side of India, plus making alliances with nations like Afghanistan, as well as seeking China's support to weaken India and to take back its own waterways. Pakistan is actually in a superior position to guarantee access to its waters and to take back the land which it claims it has a right to since the beginning of partition. Will Pakistan defy US policy for the sake of its own people and for access to its own water? Or will it follow US policy all the way until the inevitable, which is Pakistan turning into a complete desert?